Members, the House is resumed. When we were last yesterday, we were on the third reading of the Veterans Support Bill, and speaking at that time was David Shearer and has 4 minutes remaining. Sorry? Oh. I'm just going to call on Government Order of the Day. Yeah.
Interrupted debate on the third reading of the Veterans Support Bill.
So I'm now calling David Shearer, who has 4 minutes remaining if he wishes to speak.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Yes, I do indeed. Sir, I just want to pick up where I left off, which was where we basically agreed with this bill, the Veterans Support Bill, sir, which is a rewriting of the 1954 bill, which was well and truly out of date. And as I was saying last night, before the House rose, this is something that had been long overdue to upgrade this bill, and since 1954 it hadn't really been touched. That was kicked off by Rick Barker and Phil Goff under the last Labor government. They asked the Law Commission to look into this bill and to provide some recommendations, which the Law Commission did. It consulted very widely. It talked to veterans. It talked to the RSAs around the country. Spent 2 years doing that and did a very good job. It was completely non-partisan, completely neutral, and as a result of that came up with a 280-page report with some extensive recommendations. For the most part, sir, those recommendations have been agreed to, and we've been pretty happy with that. There were a number, as I was saying last night, that were not agreed to, and we pushed pretty hard from this side of the House, and I want to acknowledge Phil Goff's efforts here. First of all, to correct really an anomaly that somehow there was some means of being able to assess disability at 52%, which was a long, complicated piece of mathematical torture, really, in order to be able to come up with that 52%. That is now gone. The government was reluctant to do that, but it has agreed to it itself. It's agreed to, in addition to that, it's agreed that the community services card will be automatically given to our veterans, because once again it was something that the government wasn't willing to entertain. With pressure from this side, the government agreed to it. And, sir, it also ensured that if a veteran was hospitalised, even after 13 weeks, their allowance, their benefit was not, their pension was not terminated. Once again, 52%, community services card, and ensuring that 13 weeks in hospital didn't mean that they were going to lose any of their benefits, were additions that on this side of the House we pushed for, and after some pretty vigorous disagreement the government agreed to. What we're left with, though, sir, and I think this is miserable, that the lump sum payment on the death of a veteran cannot be paid to that veteran's family. And that's a sum of $5,800. It is not a lot of money. Over the period of time that we're looking at, with the decline in the number of veterans because of just the way that, unfortunately, people are getting old and they're passing away, that will amount to less than $8 million a year. And I can think of a lot of money that is being spent by this government that is much less value than giving the benefit of those veterans' families something when that veteran dies. Because let's face it, sir, it's not just about the veterans who went away, it's also about their families who suffered behind when they went. And, sir, this would acknowledge that contribution that they made to New Zealand. Thank you.
I call Jan Logie.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker.